I've always wanted a hobby that included alcohol, but I'm not much of a beer drinker, so mead or honey wine seemed like a natural fallback. I have several meads that will take months to age, but I wanted to make a low alcohol volume mead that could be ready to drink in 3 weeks. So I found this recipe from another YouTuber named Doing the Most, and I'll even include some tasting notes. So let me show you how I made it. The most important step to a brew day is to crack open another brew that you made. So this is some lemon wine that I made a couple weeks ago. I'm gonna serve it up in a chilled glass to go along with my brew day. Um, I have some cider I need to bottle, so I'll show you a little bit of that before I start with the recipe. The cider I made, I used some apple juice as the base liquid, and then I added about a pound of honey to it. It's about a 9 to 10% alcohol cider. It should be pretty good to drink shortly in about a month, but it should be really good in probably 4 to 6 months. So I plan on keeping a few bottles to age. So for the session mead, I'm going to start with orange blossom honey. I'm going to use 3 pounds, 12 ounces to start in the primary fermentation to make a 3-gallon batch that will fit in this 3-gallon keg that I have pictured on the right of the screen. So I'm weighing it out using my kitchen scale, and then I'm going to top it off with spring water. You really want to brew with water that you think tastes good. So if you don't like your faucet water, make sure you buy some spring water that you like. Now, if I just left it with honey and water, I think it would be a little bit kind of weak on the taste palate. So I'm going to add some adjuncts. Um, you'll see me measuring out here some malic acid and some citric acid, powdered wine tannin, which if anyone drinks wine that isn't Boone's Farm knows how important tannin is, and it usually comes from sitting on the grape skins for a long period of time, but this is a nice way to get kind of a shortcut and get the same kind of flavor, mouthfeel in a short period of time. And then I'm going to get all that honey incorporated with this cool wand thing that attaches to my drill. Um, you need to incorporate the honey throughout the mixture, but you also need to incorporate some oxygen into it. So at this point, this is called your must before you pitch your yeast into it. Now I'm going to take a hydrometer reading, which is basically just a measure of density to get my original gravity. And this original gravity was about 1.044, which should come out to about 5.8% alcohol. And then I'm going to pitch my yeast, which is D47 wine yeast with Go-ferm and Fermaid O to kind of give it lots of nutrients to kick off and be healthy. And just a word, I did sanitize everything I used in a little sink with star sand. And my airlock is filled with star sand as well. So it took about a week to ferment, all the way dry, and then I transferred it into a bucket and stabilized it so that I could backsweeten it and add sweetness that wouldn't ferment out. So I backsweetened with about 10 ounces more of honey to give it more honey flavor, and then I let it go for about 2 more weeks to age before I transferred it into a keg. And in these transfer processes are important because you're also getting it off the yeast cake and getting it off some of the sediment, which helps with clarity. Now this didn't go all the way clear because I didn't really care if it did. I just wanted to drink it. And this is me figuring out how to keg as well because this is my first time. This cool little 3-gallon keg is nice because it's going to fit in my regular fridge. I don't have to get a special kegerator keezer setup. So I'm going to open the CO2 from the tank. I'm just going to do a little 5 psi into the keg initially just so I can purge the headspace of any oxygen before I turn it up to 30 psi to force carbonate it for about 24 to 48 hours. which at that point I'll turn down to 10 psi, which is serving pressure. I ended up turning the pressure down to 20 before I threw it in the fridge, and then in 2 days, we were ready to do some tasting. Oh, you just went right for it. I was gonna make you smell it, and like tell me what it smells like.
Sorry, I had to get the pill down out of my hand here.
Oh, yeah, that was just to take the pill. Yeah. Okay. All right. I have to introduce you though.
Oh, it's the.
Oh, I never really talked to the camera, so it was the first. And half my audience is people who I work with, so they already know who this is.
Yeah, fair enough.
The other half is my family, so this is Trevor, one of my co-residents. And he's gonna tell me what he thinks of this. What kind of alcohol do you usually drink, Trevor?
Usually it's beer, sometimes it's cocktails. Wine is a little more rare. I've had mead a few times, but little experience.
I wasn't even gonna tell you what this was. I was just gonna make you guess what it was and guess how much alcohol you think is in it. So
I can guess the second part.
You can smell and taste it and tell me what you think.
If I had to guess, I would have thought this was maybe a wine, but not with I don't know, maybe with something else.
Like fruit?
Like a fruit wine would have been my guess, but I was understanding you were making mead. So is this mead?
Yes.
Okay. So made with honey and not fruit.
Mead. There is no fruit at all. The honey though is orange blossom honey, so you might get some hint of orange. Would kind of equate this almost to like cider if I had to compare it to something. So I think it does kind of get tricked into like a cider. Mainly maybe because I use malic acid as like the acetone, and malic acid is in apples. So that's probably, if you did think it was like a cider, why it would taste like that. What do you think the alcohol percent is?
My guess would be in the 5 to 10% range, but I'm not sure. It's a little bit sweet. It's not super bitter. It's not super acidic. Sour.
Yeah, it's like 5.8%.
5.8.
So it's like a beer basically, or a cider that you would get on tap. And then, do you think you would pay for this or drink two of them?
Yeah, that's the better one. Would you drink two of them? Yeah, I drink two of them. It's pretty light. This is something that I think you could have more than one of and not fill up. Unlike a lot of the beers I like, where have the big heavy stout beer and.
Yeah, that was my goal. It was to make this ready for like late spring, early summer, because I wanted something that I could drink 3 gallons of.
Yeah.
And
out in the sun and not get too full. So
if I'm gonna keg 3 gallons of it, I want to be able to drink all of it and not make something like super heavy, or like sparkling wine where I drink 1 glass and I'd be done. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's about it.
Well, thanks for sharing.
This is all the questions I have for you.
All right. I didn't know I was gonna be on camera.
It's okay. I can cut it to make it look like it's not awkward, so that all the pauses don't matter. Or I'll keep them, because awkward pauses are what make us human. Oh, so a big thanks to Trevor for volunteering / being forced to do this. And if anyone lives within driving distance and they want to try this, you probably have about 4 days before I drink it all, so you better get your butt over here. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll be doing some more videos like this where I'll get more people to taste on camera and kind of give their opinions about what I'm making, so that I'm validated.